And good morning, everyone. Welcome to TGD Today. It's the Roundtable with George, Hugh, and Al. Good morning, boys.
Morning, George. Welcome home.
Well, thank you. It was a good trip.
Sounds like it.
I had a blast.
Good.
Yeah. We'll have to get off air and talk about what happened.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
It got ugly a couple of times.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And especially Saturday night. You remind me later to tell you what happened Saturday night.
Okay.
Got you.
With one John Daly.
Oh, Lord. I don't even need to know. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I've been a part of those.
We could do a series of shows just on Saturday night with one John Daly.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So, Roundtable. I thought, it's been a couple of days now since the Masters, and I just thought we would kind of put a summary on it. We kind of, express our thoughts, what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like, who played well, who didn't play well. So, I open up the Roundtable here for open discussion about the Masters.
4 words. Jordan's kick, major, butt.
Oh, that's good. You stumbled, but that's
Yep.
good. Jordan kicked major butt.
I tell you what, watching that young man, and I said this yesterday in a deal that I did with Mark Immelman, to see a 21-year-old young man act and conduct himself the way he did is an absolute compliment to his parents and the way they raised that young man.
Oh, no doubt.
You don't see that nowadays, George.
No.
You don't see
No.
you don't see young guys, and I call them kids because obviously I'm 30 years older. But I mean, to see the way he handled himself with the press, with the people, and it was just a joy to see and very, very refreshing.
Right. I'll give you a little bit of the feedback from actually the course itself. It was interesting over the 4 days. Actually, it was all 4 days. It was interesting to kind of interact with the patrons and to see their reaction. And I'm telling you, each day you could tell exactly the time that Mickelson or Woods teed off.
Oh, yeah.
Not Jordan,
Right?
not Rory, not any of the other quote-unquote names that were to
Fowler.
win this thing.
Right.
Ricky Fowler, Jason Day,
Yep.
it didn't matter. You knew you could be at the bottom of the property at 14T, at 12, at Amen Corner. You could be anywhere on that property. And you knew exactly when Phil made a par or Woods made a par or, God forbid, they made a birdie. Because literally the needles fell off the tree
Yep.
when those two made something other than par. Interestingly, and the reason I bring this up, you hear little claps, just a little applause for anybody else. The golf clap, the Augusta golf clap.
Yep.
But let Mickelson make a par putt on one, and it was a roar. A roar for par. And you're breaking your neck to look at the scoreboards, which are all manual.
Oh, yeah.
There's no electrics.
Thinking it's going to be a bird.
Thinking it's a birdie.
Yeah.
And it's just a par. And you're going, wow, isn't that interesting?
I can only imagine the roar and the sound because just the way it was on television. But when he held the bunker shot,
On 18?
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it had to shake the foundation of the clubhouse.
yeah, I was 4 blocks away and heard it.
Yep.
Yeah. And you could even hear the lead up of when the ball left the trap.
Yep.
You could hear everybody gasping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally, it was traveling that far. The masses. It's amazing to see the masses
Yes.
that follow Mickelson,
Yep.
that follow Tiger.
It's amazing.
And do not follow Spieth,
Yep.
and do not follow McIlroy.
Yep.
Well, I can tell you this with Jordan Spieth and the way he went out and won this golf tournament and the way he conducted himself, that will change quickly.
Real quick.
Saturday afternoon, Jordan, you brought it up, the way he conducted himself, the way he handled. I mean, he poorly played 17, and that was the immediate reaction of I take the 8 gentlemen that I was hanging around with, and then you add that to the thousands and hundreds of thousands that were going to be viewing or walking along at that afternoon. That was his downfall. Boom. He's done.
Yeah.
The double at 17 was it. That we knew it. That's why we didn't bet
yeah.
on him. That's
Yep.
why we're not following him
Right.
because he's made double. He's toast. That was the response. You could hear it throughout the spectators. He's toast. Psst, hey. That's it. He made double. He's done. He's done. Watch him on 18. He'll make double on 18. I'm serious.
Oh, I
that was
don't
the
doubt it at all.
conversations
Yeah.
literally from him
Everybody was
walking.
waiting for him to fall off. Yeah.
All three of us know the walk area from 17 green to 18 tee box is about 11 yards.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's 11 yards. I paced it off. You could hear people talking while he was making that walk. He's done. He's toast. In other words, Jordan Spieth should not have been there in the first place.
And I'll be honest with you, George. Honestly, after he hit the good tee shot at 18 after the double, I said, okay, you know what? The kid's got himself back together. And then
Yeah.
when he blew it right to the bunker, I'm like, oh, come on,
and
dude.
that was
Seriously.
a whole nother. That was a whole nother genre.
I understand that, but it was like, come on, dude, just stop now. You can't go doing this. Get this back together. You know. And I'm telling you, the up and down was amazing, and that's what saved his golf tournament.
Hugh, Sunday morning, I took the group that I was with that had never been to Augusta before, and so all these sights and sounds, and it's like, you know, it's just so new. It's like welcome to heaven, and
Disney.
let me give you a tour.
Yeah, Disneyland
You know?
for golfers is.
Oh, you walked through
exactly.
You walked
You got
through
it.
those gates past this first scoreboard right there, and I'm telling you, if you don't get goosebumps, you're not a golfer. Number one,
I got
number two,
tears.
you're not human.
I got tears.
I mean, it's. I'll never forget Heather telling the story about the first time her dad got to go with, with Charlie, Leanne's grandfather, and he's had tickets since it started, and I mean Bill walked across the first fairway, and he kind of looked up at the tee, and he looked up at the green, bent down and kissed the ground, and was in tears.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a man that was supposed to have been dead from cancer and was cancer free, and he's like, I get to go to Augusta, and it just does that to you. I mean, it gives you that second breath of no matter how bad things are
Yep.
in your life, you go to Augusta. If that doesn't cheer you up, there's nothing on earth that can.
The only negative of this year, guys, and I'll recap my visit. The only negative is now I will not go back to Augusta. I will make this claim now. I will not go back to Augusta unless I have Berkman passes.
You got spoiled.
So, Callaway, if you hear this, thanks so much for what you did.
Right.
And frankly, I'd like to get on your invite list every year from now on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable experience. And literally, you can go to Berkman's and never leave. You never walk out onto the golf course. It's that amazing. I heard Chuck talk about it with East Coast Golf Management. Right. I've heard others refer to it. I've had members over at CPC at Barefoot. I've had members come up and say, "Oh man, I went on the website. There's no pictures. Oh, but this person said this, and this person wrote this article, and this." And I said, "Okay, great, good. I'm looking forward to it." No, you have no clue.
Right.
It is the most spectacular thing I have ever participated. My 10 years in the military, flying all over the world, doing the things I've done, didn't touch any of this. There's the birth of my daughters, and then there's Berkman. How about that?
That's impressive.
So,
For something,
and I want to thank Miss
Yep.
Condoleezza Rice for opening the door the first morning I walked in and thanking me for being there. I want to thank Mr. Lynn Swan, who welcomed me in his green jacket to the clubhouse at the putting practice surfaces, as they call them.
Right.
Where you can go out and play on 6 replica greens there at Berkman's, and they are cut at 4:45 each morning to the same stimp meter as the greens out on the course. So you are playing those 6 replica holes. And they just let you go out and they choose. There was probably 250 putters to select from. Scotty Cameron's, there was 100 of those. There was 75 pings. There was 75 Odyssey Works. And then they give you a commemorative 1934 Titleist Pro V1 ball to putt with.
Sweet.
Nice.
Very sweet.
And Lynn Swan guiding you around. They also brought in 28 PGA professionals from around the world to man each of the holes. They were to tell you where to hit it, how hard to hit it. PGA professionals.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And they were there for the whole week.
You can't hide money.
No.
No.
And then on Sunday night, they clean up. Monday, they finish cleaning up. Monday night, they take green saran wrap and they saran wrap the whole building. It's only open for 1 week.
That's pretty cool.
The main building is 220 yards long. Imagine that.
That's wild.
Wow.
That's why the closest thing I've ever seen to that was like at Christmas time in Conway, South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're really going to go there.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
What was this? A Christmas party at Myrtle Manor or what?
You could take the boy out of the hills, but you can't take the hills out of the boy.
Unbelievable.
There's folks in Conway that will take aluminum foil and they'll wrap their house in aluminum foil at Christmas with the lights. It's pretty unique.
You know, I love Al to death. Jeff, you know I love him to death. But is it not Ron White that says you can't fix stupid?
You can't fix stupid.
I mean, you know, I love him to death.
Christmas,
How do you compare Conway to Berkman's? I mean, seriously.
Christmas and Aner and Conway to Berkman.
I bet you and your best friend Tick buy tickets for this stuff.
Every year, man. We don't miss it.
I have been to the mountain and I have seen it all.
Aluminum foil houses wrapped at Conway. Yeah. Do they cover the wheels or
Oh, yeah,
they
definitely,
drop,
man.
Do they drop
Yeah.
it all the way down and
They
cover
put
the wheels?
neon underneath it. Yeah, it's
Oh, they
progressive.
do.
Yep.
And folks, I promise you, this man knows about how to build and fix golf clubs. He's one of the best in the world,
he is
and
one
he's
of the
talking about this. I
He
apologize.
just don't get out much, folks. That's all we can say.
Man, I sure hope those manufacturers
Chris, let him
don't
out
listen
of
to
the
us
house
right
a little
now.
more, will you?
Well, you know, I had to come up with something. I mean, that's pretty impressive, wrapping a whole building in a green.
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
So I mean, you know, I had to.
Of course, I didn't see it, so it may not be true, but I was just told that.
My
Well, this is what we do in Conway.
God, wow. Okay, let's get back to the tournament.
I don't know if I can.
I don't know either. My mind's gone now.
Dude, I'm so fried. It's unreal.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And that's
Just,
why.
I'm
That's
trying
why
to
I'm
fathom
here.
how you compare the two.
Do they do pork rinds during Christmas time in Conway?
Oh, yeah, they fry them up right there for you. But, I mean, I don't know, George.
I can see why him and Tick go every year.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway,
All right.
so
Do they cover the hitch?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
They
everything's
usually
wrapped.
they usually put a swirly light on the hitch.
Swirly light on the
yeah.
hitch.
time out.
Okay.
Now, I get to boast. Because before you left, now I brought you breakfast, folks. Remember our bet?
He did.
George broke
He did.
80 at East Lake. I brought him breakfast and his large sweet tea, even though he's drinking coffee at the moment. But did I not tell you who to watch?
Yes, you did.
And
Yes,
he
you did.
dadgum came close.
And I threw my headphones off.
Yep.
And I said, "Are you out of your mind?"
yeah.
You're exactly right. You called it dead on. No doubt about
It's
it.
something about getting to a certain golf course, though, folks, that you can go to, whether you play the tour or you're just playing in your member guests with your buddies. Certain ones fit your eye, and you know how to play them, and that guy does.
And you could see the comfort. The couple days that I really got out and started interacting with the players, in other words, following them, studying their shots, looking at their shot angles, looking at their aim points, you could see the comfort with Phil. You could tell. And he really had a good feel, especially Saturday when they lit the greens up a little bit after Tiger's comment Friday evening. And trust me, the members of the Greens Committee were watching.
Oh, I promise you.
yeah.
And he wasn't the only one saying it, but they didn't do it as much
No.
as I thought they would.
Well, they did it enough. It could have gotten away from them.
They should have let it.
Well, I don't know. It
It played awful soft, George.
did. And interestingly, too, there wasn't that much rain. It just been such a wet winter.
Sure, it had, and I mean, and the golf course was lush. I mean, that's why it was so beautiful and looked
Oh,
so
it was
good.
gorgeous.
But that's what
It
I'm
was
saying.
gorgeous.
You know, it's just for guys to hit shots into some of those holes, like hitting the long irons and the hybrids into 4, and when they hit, if they happen to hit the green, the ball didn't go very far.
Right.
You know, and you're not used to seeing that at Augusta.
And after Saturday, it was going a little bit further Saturday as far as its release. And then Sunday, it was continuing to go a little bit further. And we saw that quite evident on 13.
Yeah.
Quite evident on 13, where they had that pin placement. The guys were playing left of the pin, upwards of the ridge, looking to get the fall off. And the problem was it was hitting the ridge, and instead of checking and then dropping down toward the pin, that level of the pin, it was releasing and then going over the green.
And you
Yeah, I
saw
saw
it,
that.
and you
Yep.
saw it the first couple of days. You know, when they put the one day where they put it on top of the little knoll on the left.
On the left.
You know, balls are hitting and stopping right there. Where used to
Right.
they would hit there and go over the green, and they're going, "Oh, please God, don't let me make 7."
Right.
You know?
They go in that back swell or
Yeah.
even in the back. They're hoping it gets in the back bunkers.
Back bunker, then they got a
because,
chance.
yeah, at least it'll settle at the bottom and they
Yep.
have some chance of putting some spin on it. But it was interesting with Phil in the fact that you could see that he was playing. I mean, if you told him on Wednesday night, we're going to give you 14 under par, and you'll just take your chance on whether that's enough to win the tournament,
I would have sat.
Most of them made that same comment. They would have took that.
you doggone right.
Yep.
I
That
would've
just
sat.
that just attests to Jordan Spieth and how he played this event,
It-
and he adjusted to the conditions of the golf course. I'm serious. You could tell it with the other players that they didn't adjust so well.
Well, and I'll put it to you this way now. I'll let you. I know you got something you want to say, but I'm going to say this right now, George. And we talked about it before we went on air with Jeff. You know, the thing about Spieth is they say, you know, well, he just doesn't hit it that far. Well, you and I were talking about. You mentioned it. Oh, yes, he does.
Yes,
But
he does.
this young man has proven every point I've ever said and ever been taught by my late father that, you know, when it comes to golf, you have to learn to change gears. This kid keeps it well within the parameters of his comfort zone, and he stays there unless he has to change and go to a high gear.
Let me-
and that's why he doesn't make mistakes.
For us layman amateurs, when he's in cruise control, he's above average. Above average. He's not average. He's above average. But he has a manual gear.
Yes. And
I saw it on 14 on Sunday.
And if you want to know why Tiger Woods can't hit a fairway, he can't get out of that gear.
Yeah.
He stays in that gear because of I've got to be the longest and whatever. And the
Right.
guy never hit a fairway on Sunday.
Yeah,
Got
he
it in
did.
high gear.
He did.
I mean, you've got to know how to back down, change gears, get the ball in play, and keep it in front of you to where you can score. And all of a sudden, you start making a few putts like Jordan did. He made some 20-footers. But at Augusta, you're putting on the most perfect surface that's in the world. You give yourself those chances, you're going to make a few every now and then.
It's fun to watch them to actually be there feet away.
Oh, yeah.
And to watch how short and how lightly they putt.
Yep.
Because those greens, even though some people stated, well, they're not as quick as we're used to and they're rolling slower than we're used to. And, well, there was 2 greens committee members that were sitting with us Friday afternoon and at Berkman's, and they were watching the live. The televisions all have different feeds, and you're seeing live footage there from the media press tent, from hole 12, hole 14, hole 17 that you don't see on CBS.
Right. I'm with you.
So you're getting
Cool.
different live feeds from everywhere.
Nice.
Even the camera that sits in front of the oak tree there in front of the clubhouse, which is dormant most of the time. You just see a camera in a tree.
Right.
They just have that live feed going constantly. So, long story short, when Tiger did his press conference, it had not been, quote unquote, filtered and then sent out for replay.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're seeing it live.
Okay.
And you see these guys over there making notes. They're making notes. And when he came out and said the greens aren't rolling as quick as we anticipated, don't know if it's soft, you know, it just took me a while to get used to it. You could almost sense them over there writing, we're going to light this baby up.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
And they
We're
could
gonna
have.
flip
And
the
they and they
switch.
did,
Yep.
they really
And
they may have, George, but they didn't do it like I
For them
expected
to move it, we anticipate, just the layman's looking, between Friday and Saturday, we anticipated they sped them up by 2 feet. And that's huge. That's huge.
Well, I mean, that's the difference in a stroke and then the jab strokes you see at the average golf course.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, it's like putting on a pool table. So, like Daddy used to say, it's like putting in the bathtub.
I referred
it's-
I referred his comment to a Callaway person on Saturday. he's saying, George, you've putted greens at East Lake, and we were just there Thursday playing, and you've been out here, you've putted these greens, you've been at Berkman's and putt. He said, what would you explain to your listeners and your viewers as to how? I said, Hugh Royer's got the comment on this, and the legend himself came up with it. I said, you put a ball in the bathtub and you try to stop it before it gets to the drain. And that's exactly it.
It's exactly it. I mean, it's just that's the way it is. And that you get in the wrong side of the hole around there, you've seen guys put it off the green. So,
well, I tell you what, it was also interesting to see Justin Rose. And Justin played extremely well. He was in no way, shape, or form for the mass of the spectators in any kind of opportunity to make a run at this, except for after his first 6 holes on Sunday, when you're sitting there watching him start off with a birdie and then go with another birdie, and then he has 3 holes at par, and then he makes a bogey on 6, and they're going, okay, he's falling back, and then he makes another bogey on 9, and all the while Jordan gets to 18 under, and then he gets to 19 under on 15. Well, Rose makes the turn and starts his way back and gets to 15 under par. And, of course, he ends up bogeying 18 to kind of put a docile end to it. But, I mean, if you sit and watch him and Mickelson made the charge. But that, he gets to comes off 13 at 13 under, and then immediately at 14 bogeys. And that kind of took some air out of the lungs.
It did. And look at what Casey did. Look at what, Matsuyama.
Oh, Matsuyama.
They
phenomenal
hardly showed him.
Well, they probably didn't get 10 seconds of airtime.
That's what I'm saying. And this kid Matsuyama finishes tied for 5th with Paul Casey. And
who else starts today
Fowler
at 4
tore it up
under?
on
Well,
Sunday.
actually, I take that back. He finishes on his own. But, I mean, he's sitting there at 11 under par and never got any airtime, never got shown.
And who else starts at 4 under par and finishes at 9 under for the day? One Ian Poulter.
Yeah. Fowler.
And never showed him. Never showed him.
Yep.
So, but I tell you what, guys, we anticipated this. We talked about it. We were looking forward to it. This is the most anticipated Masters that we were looking forward to for the number of people that were there to win it, and it turned out to be such.
Oh, no
Could
doubt.
not have been better.
It did, and I think it's one of those people are going to talk about for a long, long time because
lot
this is the emergence of the next guy that everybody wants to pull for.
I agree.
No doubt.
Thanks for joining us today on Roundtable here at TGD Today. And TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting The Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. Hey, need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Give us a call, 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. Catch up on any show you may have missed. Click on the radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Al Cloyd, Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt. We want to thank Jeff and Big D behind the glass. We want to thank you for tuning in. There's more golf news and information coming up next.